All right.
Hey,
Hello, everybody. We just spent the last little while, um, you know, learning about Tom's Simple Storage mod. And the reason we did this is because all of the showcases and tutorials and things like that that we've seen on YouTube weren't the best, and the ones that did explain everything were a little bit complex and hard to follow. So we wanted to make one that was a little bit more simple, hopefully. Um, so the basics of how this mod works is basically connecting up different storage inventories like chests. So at a very basic level, if you have two chests just like this, normally in vanilla Minecraft, this chest can only access its own contents. Same with this chest, it can only access its own contents. Okay, but we have this handy little block right here called an inventory connector. Any adjacent inventory becomes connected as well as up to 16 blocks away as long as it makes physical contact. So now, if we were to take a stack of redstone dust, put it in this chest, take a stack of diamonds, put it in this chest, and then we put a terminal on our inventory connector, we can see both the stack of diamonds and the redstone dust here. If we have another chest out here, and let's say we put a stack of grass blocks in this one, as you can see, it's not in the system. We would need to use inventory trim, connect that up, and now it's in the system. Trim basically connects the gaps. Alternatively, if this chest were to be touching this chest, be completely adjacent, it would also still show up to 16 blocks away, like we said. So if we take this out
well,
once again, go ahead.
yeah, as well, you can use a backpack
Yeah, so
from another
we
mod.
got a cool mod, the sophisticated backpacks.
And yeah, if you place that in there, it
So
will show up
second
as well.
second stack of redstone dust in the backpack. As you can see, we got 128 redstone dust, 64 being from here, 64 being from the backpack. So it does play nice with other storage mods, which is very useful. Um, yeah, so let's get into a little bit more of the complex stuff. So as we were saying, we have 16 blocks in any direction. So a couple of these chests have some things in it. We can see them here. Okay, so this one's got some stuff. This one's got some stuff, so on and so forth. And then if on our very last block, which we have lovely denoted green for good to go, if we take a stack of diamonds, throw it in here, come back over to our system, we can see our stack of diamonds go in and out as Liam over here places and breaks that chest. Now, if we add another block or another chest to the end of that, as you can see, we make sure he's in frame. As he puts things in and out of this chest, it does not show up in our terminal because it's beyond the 16 block limit. So there is a way to extend that 16 block limit, though it is a little bit more complicated. And before I forget to mention, it is 16 blocks in every direction. So 16 blocks out this way, 16 blocks out this way, 16 blocks this way, upwards and downwards. If you had a massive storage system with this in the middle and some way to access the terminal, you could have a lot of chests all connected up at once with only just the one inventory connector and adjacent chests. If we want to connect something out here longer than 16 blocks, then we need this setup here, which Liam will go ahead and explain now.
Yeah. So if we use these inventory cables, we can connect these and be able to use these inventory proxies. And so these are a little bit complicated to set up. It does matter what direction they're facing. They have to be connected to an inventory connector. And you'll kind of see like the open side over here. You want to show that, Paxton? That's the side they got to face. Once that's hooked up like that, you have to have an inventory cable connector facing that direction. connecting to the inventory cables. And then you can start connecting chests all along the sides, any direction, like I said, up to 16 blocks. Um, After that, you'll see we've got a stack of polished granite in here, and that will show up all the way over here in the terminal, which is super nice.
Very nice indeed.
Yeah. And so you can have as many as you want. And the nice part about these inventory cables is you can go as far as you want.
It's got
We have not
infinite
tested the
range.
max range, but I've used it in another world, and say at least it was like over 200 blocks. So
Yeah. It,
over,
if it's not
yeah,
infinite, it's very far. So you can just repeat this cycle and have another set of 16 blocks. Um, and yeah, just repeat this way if you have a massive storage system and need to extend it. There is a way to do it, albeit slightly different. Um, Also, quick note for these inventory cables, there is a different type. It's called a framed inventory cable, and these can be painted just like the inventory trim that we showed earlier, turning it into the grass blocks to make it match any decorations or whatnot that you have. So you can hide these cables as well, make them look like blocks, or you can just run them underground if you want to hide them that way too.
here, let's just showcase that real quick with both of them because I don't think we did the last one. So we have the inventory trim, which is also just a connector between inventories. And so you don't have to use that at all. But what you can do is you get this is called a paint kit, and you shift right click, and you're able to paint with it any block you want. Noted it if you try and do light emitting blocks, it will not emit light or kind of walk through blocks or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I haven't done every single block, but I know that as far as it can be, it's just only texture. And then also here is the pipe right here. And then let's see, we can turn that into grass as well. And if you take this and put inside your inventory with a water bucket, it will clear it out and you'll have the casing again. Um,
Yep.
cool.
Good things
And
to
now we're
note.
going to move over to what's up?
Good things to note. That's all I said.
Yeah. All right. So next part, we've got hoppers, or these um, we call it basic inventory hoppers. And so these can connect to the inventory connectors, and you can you can either have them pump in or out. And so this one we have it pumping out, and so it will grab only items that you filter. And so if you go ahead and right click, so let's say I've got diamonds, right click on this. Now the filter is set for diamonds. I'm going to drop that in the chest. And sure enough, that's going to start pumping it all the way over to here. You have to have another inventory connector connected to a chest in order for this to work. Vice versa, we can be able to pump things out of chests or pump things into chests just by grabbing and breaking. Let's see, we can break some of this. And grabbing this cable, bringing it all the way over here, and adding a pump. That should pump over there.
Oh, other direction. So you want the big end is the side that pulls, the small end pushes. So that's a good way to kind of remember which direction it's pulling from. So now, since this hopper is not connected to the inventory connector, it's going directly into the chest. It doesn't require a filter. This will pull everything out of this chest, go into this inventory connector, and then it'll end up in this chest over here.
Exactly. So if you want to reverse that, all you have to do is make sure it has a connector on the other side and then reverse that with that as well. Go in the right direction.
Yeah. So now
Great.
things are draining out of here and ending up over here once again.
Yep. One more thing we have is this. All right. This is called the level emitter. And so this will check items that you have to filter. So if I put one redstone inside there and I set the emitter to 1, if one redstone goes by, then we will get light emitted. And so it's starting to emit one right there.
Yep, we will
So
get a redstone signal. So those of you who are like extremely into redstone builds, that's got some high potential for you to do weird clock-based timer things.
yeah, especially with inventories. So if I
Yeah.
put 10 in here, and
I'm imagining like a really long period hopper clock, basically.
So if this has, oops, this has 10 inside here, it will go off. So yep, 10 just passed and there it goes. All right, and then the last bit is kind of example of what you can do and kind of get creative with this. We have 3 storage systems set up, each connected with inventory proxy. And so this is just like if you got a scenario where you've got a bunch of teammates and you're all building together. And let's say you guys want to share inventories or have a place where you can connect all your goods. We have this little piston pushing up. It connects all the inventories and comes out to one display over here. And so Paxton comes around, takes a look at each inventory, they're different. And then eventually you can be able to see that all of them will show up on this one scanner. Vice versa, you can also connect it doing this kind of funky method, just pulling it over the top and then putting one of those filters, or not filters, inventory cable connectors right here facing the right direction. And then grabbing this interface, and this will also give you access to all the items again. The
Yeah.
only difference
We
why
don't
this is
even
not
need the
access.
interface over here. It also accesses from your main one because it's hooked up to the storage connector right behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And that is all we have so far.
yeah,
If there's anything else you guys want
the one thing that we
to
haven't been able to figure out, and I also do want to mention real quick before I forget, we have the wireless terminal here. This
oh yeah.
will increase the range that you can access any terminals by 16 blocks. So obviously, if I'm close enough to access it from here, I back up a little bit, I cannot access this anymore. If I am holding the wireless terminal, I can now access this from up to 16 blocks away. As you can see, I'm less than 16 blocks away. I can activate this. If I back up even more, I cannot access it anymore. I have to come back within the 16 block range. So that's a nifty little thing if you've got a few terminals spread out and you want to be able to just like activate it from anywhere. A handy little tool to have. And as I was
Yeah.
saying, the one thing we couldn't figure out is these inventory proxies do have a filtering mode. So if I hover over this and press shift, you can see the description that Tom left for us. We don't fully understand it. So if any of you guys do understand it, please leave it in the comments and we will make sure to pin it to the top because I'm sure anyone who's trying to figure out how to use these would appreciate the help because they are not super intuitive. But you can use a diamond to set filters for these. And we tried for probably a solid 20 to 30 minutes just messing around with the filters and could not get it to work or do anything that we understood. So that might be a bug. It might be something that we just don't understand. But apart from that, I think we've covered pretty much everything this mod has to offer. Very
Yeah.
handy, very useful. If you are like me and you do not like spending hours and hours organizing your chests, this is phenomenal. It makes it such a breeze. Um, and like we've shown, you can get some complex systems going on where you can share inventories periodically. You can even have this piston set up to an AND gate so that all 3 people would have to flick a lever before the piston would come up and start sharing the inventories. So a lot of potential, a lot of good stuff, and even at its base, it's just a really handy utility mod to make your storage life much, much easier. You got anything
All
to
right.
add?
I think that's it. All right.
Alrighty.
Sign out.
All right, guys, real quick, before the video ends, we realized we completely forgot to talk about this guy right here, the open crate. He's super easy, so we're gonna knock that out really quick. So more or less, this is like a automatic dropper. It will face towards you however you place it. You can even place it facing upwards if you so choose. We're gonna have it pointing right to this block right here. And basically, slap a terminal on this guy, anything you put in here will be dropped out as an entity, and you can walk over it, pick it up, or leave it there as pretty decorations. But the downside is the items will despawn after 5 minutes, just like if you were to throw something out on the ground, right? So don't leave them there for too long, but it's a cool little visualizer. You can use it as a dropper. If you use like an item hopper with a filter, kind of like this system over here that we showed out, you can have it drop specific things out of your storage system. So let's say you have like a cobblestone generator that's automatically pumping into your system, and you don't like cobblestone, you want to turn it into stone. You can have this filtered out with a hopper to take that cobblestone, drop it into a furnace array, and then have the stone get brought back into your storage system. You can do whatever you want with it, but like I said, just be aware these will despawn if you leave them there for more than 5 minutes, just like normal. All right, see you guys later.